Wowza Rooney. I did not expect to be this nervous to sit down and record, but here we are. And by we, I mean just little old me for the relaunch of Season 2. I am Bella. I'm going to be your only host moving forward, but I'm sure most of you know that because I'm pretty confident a lot of you have come over to this episode to sort of find out what the heck has been going on the last few months now. If you are an original listener to Up Past Bedtime, you would know that this podcast started out as a, parenting and relationship podcast with two hosts, that is me and my husband, Adrian. And then we went through some things and we very suddenly separated, and we have taken a break from our relationship. We took a break from the podcast, but I love it here. I love yapping to you guys. I love talking about things. I love the podcast space. And I was like, I'm not giving this up. So I have decided to come back, reclaim the Up Past Bedtime name, and I'm going to be using this to tell my truth, to talk about topics that I want to talk about, and to really make this the most beautiful, safe, feminine space for all the women and all the mamas out there. So if you have come back for this relaunch, if you've come back from this episode, I'm going to start off by saying thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. Over the last few weeks, the support of my community has been such a big driving force for me. It has been something that has allowed me to continue to get up, to continue to keep showing up online, because I have been going through a season of life where I have not wanted to show up in the slightest way. This podcast, I'm hoping, will contribute to me continuing wanting to be online. I want this to be a space for the girls, a space for the mums, a space for the women who are trying to reconnect with themselves, trying to figure out who the hell they are before, during, or after children. I just really want this to be a girls podcast. Think what to expect. Look, we're going to get into the juicy stuff, the topic of this episode, which is what the heck happened to my marriage. But before we get into that, I just want to let you guys know that moving forward, the idea of Up Past Bedtime is really for this to be a space that I can share my personal opinions, experiences, stories, and I want to get other women on here to share their personal opinions, experiences, stories. I have so many amazing guests already lined up, ready to come on for the rest of the season. I think you guys are really going to love what some of these women have to say, and you're going to take so much from it. And I'm just so excited to go on this journey and to move forward with Up Past Bedtime. We have a new pink look. We have new cute little set accessories. This is a new season for us all. And I got my pink back. If you are a long-term listener, you will know that in our old branding, I was a violet color. Everything that I wore was violet. Everything was like branded violet. And I have always been a pink girly through and through. So I'm excited to be now on my pink set with my pink clothing, my pink water bottle, and everything pink again. All right, usually at the start of an episode, I would do life updates, but I guess it's time to do the biggest life update that I could possibly bring to the podcast space. Where do I even begin with all of this? Oh, gosh. So I guess the first thing that I really want to make clear is that this is not going to be a tell-all episode. I am not going to be divulging, personal, business. I want to make it really clear before I get into this episode that I do have really strong boundaries around what I want to share and what I don't. And I know a lot of people really question that. And the reason I have those there is for my children. Unfortunately, this situation is not just something that would be on my digital footprint. It would be on their digital footprint forever. And I'm really mindful of that. I'm really mindful that one day they have to go to school, they have to make friends, they have to meet teachers, they have to get jobs. So when I'm sharing this stuff, I'm trying to really think like 10, 20, 30 years into the future. I'd hope that nothing I would say would impact them that much, but you can just never be too safe and too sure. I also feel like having two kids who are so young, I can't really talk to them about what has happened. It is a conversation that they will be having later in life. And I think I owe them the decency of them being the first people that I have that conversation with, and them knowing those details from me rather than, them feeling like everyone else knew stuff about their life before they did, and that, in 10 years' time, how am I going to know there's not some little shit on the playground that's like, well, my mummy said that, your mummy and your daddy this and blah, 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 blah. Like, I would never want that to happen to my children, and that is why a lot of the whys and what happens I will not be going into. And I really hope that all the mums listening to this can respect that and understand that position I'm coming from. I feel like with all my content online, I have always come with the mindset of like, my children are not, they're not accessories, they're not content machines, they are little souls that I grew and birthed and loved so deeply. And so I never want them to feel like they have been commercialized or commodified. And that's why, now in a lot of my content, they don't really play a big role. I don't make them film anything. I have pretty strong boundaries around the girls now. If I'm filming something and they wander in the back, then I'm happy to leave it in. But outside of that, I don't really proactively try and show them on my page anymore. So that is where I am coming from on this basis. And I really hope that people can be mindful and respectful of that as we move forward. So no, I won't be giving the exact whys of what happened, but I have lived so much of my life online and I have shared so much of my relationship online. And so I think it's only fair that we give, a little bit of an insight of what's going on and where to from here. So I guess the biggest question is, what the hell happened? You guys had a relationship podcast together. You had an online presence together. You were together for 10 years. You have two kids together, houses together, businesses together. And then all of a sudden you rock up one day and kind of announce like, hey, like there's nothing else like to come. Like we've kind of taken a break. There was something that did occur in our relationship, which kind of was the thing that broke the camel's back. We had been very honest that we had been having some marital struggles. I did spend pretty much the majority of 2024 and a little bit of 2023 with postpartum depression. I was really struggling with that. I was getting, active therapy. I was going through diagnosis of, neurodivergence. I had really had some strong mental health problems, and that can be really straining on a relationship no matter what. It's really hard when someone in your relationship is not firing at all cylinders, is not doing the best that they could be doing. That is a really tense thing to go through as a couple. So we had been going through that. I cannot speak for Adrian and Adrian's experiences. He did speak about it in some old episodes, and I can only share what I feel like. But yeah, it had been, a challenging year for us, and unexpectedly I could not continue on with the relationship and I needed to step back and take a break and step away. And that was a decision that was made quite suddenly and quite unexpectedly for everyone involved. So it wasn't like it was just a shock online. It was really a shock for everyone, including myself, because it wasn't really on my bingo card and it wasn't something that we were working towards or I was anticipating in any way, shape or form. So there has been a lot of assumptions around that whole situation, and I guess I can just let the assumptions be the assumptions. A lot of people were like, there's no way that she, moved house in a week and, got out, and she obviously had someone helping her do this and it was planned and blah, 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 which it wasn't. I did, in fact, pack up my life, find a rental and move into a house all within a 7-day period. So it was very, very quick moving on my end. I did not have any special help to achieve that. I literally just applied to a place that was move in instantly. We own properties, so that makes us a really nice rental candidate. They like to see if you're a homeowner because they know that you can make, repayments on a mortgage. They know that like your credit score is really good. They know you know how to like maintain and look after a property. So I think that really helped that was on my rental application. And yeah, I guess I was just lucky and I got that house that I applied for. They wanted someone to move in instantly. So I applied for a house on the Wednesday. I got the keys on a Friday within that same week. So that was just really, really lucky. The reason why I decided to move out is because I really needed space and I needed privacy and I needed just my own zone to feel like I could process a lot of things that had happened in our marriage for the last year. I did live with my in-laws in our family home. So it was Adrian, my two in-laws, and then myself and the two girls. And it just felt a little too close for comfort for us to be going through like a really big marital shift with his whole family there, sort of experiencing it with us. We just thought that the best point of action would be for me to move to a new home that was nice and close to where we were already. And I just wanted that. I wanted the space. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to feel like, you know, I had an audience to going through a really tough time. So I decided that that would be the best case of action. I'm trying really hard in this episode to say I feel like I was with Adrian for 10 years. So my natural reaction to everything is to say, we decided this, we decided that, or whatever. But I'm trying to get in the mindset of I, which is a really hard switch to sort of make. So that was like the big breakdown of everything. So pretty much we had this conversation where it was a really intense conversation and I kind of came to the conclusion of like, I need a break from this marriage. I don't think this is working. I don't feel like this is a healthy environment for us, for our kids. This is really challenging and really tough and I need to be away to process and think and I need time and space. And yeah, I pretty much searched for that house straight away. I got it straight away, which was so incredibly lucky, and I will always be grateful for that. And sort of moved into the house. And then I had to come into the online world, which is a very challenging thing to do. I think anyone who's ever been in a relationship where things are sort of falling apart, they're not going as strongly anymore, you know how complicated that path is to navigate. It makes it extremely more complicated when you have kids. It's not like you're teenagers anymore and you can just be like, oh, I'm done with you. We're going to break up and I'm never going to talk to you again. Like that's not an adult life. Unfortunately, you have children together, you have assets together, you have lives that are so intertwined and intermingled. So you can't just do like a, I don't want to ever talk to you again type of situation. But then I had the extra stress of having a public profile, having an online profile, and an online profile that was based on me being a wife and a mother and a stay-at-home mother. So yeah, I did not have the luxury of dealing with this in private and just, you know, leaving Adrian out of the content because I had moved location. He was a big part of my online profile. I shared a lot about my daily life. I still do. And so I kind of had this really challenging situation where I have had to process what I have been going through in real time with all of you. There was no big lead up. There was no stuff that was happening behind the scenes. I know I had a week's advance to you guys finding out the news. And then the rest has all kind of flowed in real time, which has been really interesting. That is another reason why I've kept a lot of stuff close to chest because, you know, this stuff develops and it's very complicated and it's very nuanced and nothing is cut and dry. And I didn't want to, and I don't want to overshare stuff that, you know, in 12 months time, I'm going to look back and be like, oh, you really should have kept that to yourself. You really shouldn't have said that. You know, when you bring stuff online, you suddenly have hundreds of thousands of eyes, opinions and thoughts that kind of get brought into a situation that's already, you know, challenging enough between two people, let alone hundreds of thousands of people. I guess the biggest question that we are getting asked is, are you guys separated? Are you getting a divorce? What's going on with your marriage? And I wish that I could give you guys clear-cut answers on that myself. I feel like only the girlies who have gone through separation and have gone through this will really understand like where I'm coming from and what I'm talking about in this space. But what I can share for now is that we are officially separated. in Australia anyway, you can't file for divorce until you've been separated for 12 months. Even if we wanted to file for divorce, like we wouldn't be able to until September 2025. But we haven't even decided if that is, the road that we are going to be taking. For right now, we are just focusing on being the best co-parents that we can be together. That is our only focus. We are not focusing on anything to do with us, our relationship, how we are romantically connected, nothing like that. In that sense, it is cut and dry, done. We're not dealing with that. We're not talking about the idea of reconciliation, none of that, because we are in a space where there is a lot of self-work that needs to be done by both of us. And, to do that work, you need time and space. And the marriage was just at a point where there was nothing that we could do in the short term to fix it or make things better or make it right. The only thing that could be possible for any terms of reconciliation would be, a lot of time doing a lot of work and seeing a lot of, actions change and not just talk. And unfortunately, that couldn't be done together. So I guess the where we're at is like, yes, technically we are still married. We're only separated. On a romantic level, we are not together. We are living our own lives. We are doing our own thing. But on a parenting level, we are still very deeply intertwined and trying to do the best for our family. When people ask me questions like, what do you see for you and Adrian in the future? My response to my friends, my family, and now I guess you guys is I don't have a crystal ball. I don't really know what the future holds. I don't know where we are going from here because there's just too many variables and I can't predict that, and I can't say for sure what the right choice is for us or what, it's going to look like in 6 months' time, in 12 months' time, in 10 years' time. So I'm just trying not to put a label on anything. I'm trying not to say what's happening in our romantic relationship other than for right now we're apart and we are working on ourselves and we are trying to find ourselves and do the best we can do as individuals, and we're not really thinking about discussing or working on us as a couple. And I think that's okay, and I know for some people that would be really confusing, but I'm just trying to be as graceful, as understanding, as empathetic, as calm-headed as I can possibly be. And those choices are me trying to tap into that side of me. And I don't know, the thing I've really learned from this whole experience is like far out adult relationships are so complex. They're so challenging. Nothing is simple. Nothing is black and white. And that is so frustrating for me. That is also especially frustrating as someone who has ASD and likes, set answers and likes things to go a certain way. It is really hard for me to accept that, it is what it is and you can't control everything and you just have to, go with the flow and do what's best for you. So right now I am living in my own home. I am, hanging out with my friends. I'm trying to start new hobbies. I am doing content creation full time, which I've always been doing, but I'm really doing it full time now because, you guys knew I was financially dependent on Adrian. He made 95% of our household income. And while, of course, he is still he still contributes to, the girls and we have all our joint assets together and whatever. For a big part of my life now, I do have to be financially independent, which has been a really strong learning curve, especially, I've been with Adrian since I was 18 years old. He's the only adult relationship I've ever had. I married my first adult boyfriend. So it's been really interesting to be, for the first time in my life, alone and on my own. It's been, extremely confronting. I will be completely honest with you guys. My confidence is through the floor. I do not feel like my bubbly, happy, excited for life self. I have been going really through it. And I know my subscribers would know this because I've probably cried on that platform about 100 times. But I really do feel worthless right now. A big part of my identity, which was my partner, is gone. And a part of me feels embarrassed to admit that so much of my identity was in us as a couple. And then the other part of me is like, well, of course it is. That's the only adult identity you've ever known. You've not known yourself as an adult without that person. So of course you feel like a part of you is really missing. I feel very jaded from this whole experience. I feel very hurt. I feel like I'm angry at the world because my life has not panned out how I thought it was going to. I, never wanted this reality. If you're not a long-term listener, you might not know this, but I am a child of a very, tumultuous divorce, a really bad, detrimental, angry divorce that left me with a lot of divorce trauma. And so I had always told myself, like, I would never do that to my children. I'd never put them through divorce. I'd never put them through separation. So it's been really confronting that choice has sort of been taken out of my hands, and it's been really hard to navigate. And I think when I'm making a lot of choices of what I'm sharing online and how I'm showing up online, it is coming with that mindset of I have been on the receiving end of, choices being made that weren't maybe the best for me, once I grew up into adulthood and were confronting, and, there was lots going on in my parents' relationship, my parents' divorce that really hurt me. And I just really would never, ever, ever want to do that to the girls. And so I guess that's why I'm trying to navigate this as gracefully as possible. I love them, more than anything. They are my heart and soul outside of my body. And I just want to be so careful with their lives and how they view love and relationships and family. And the really positive thing is Adrian and I are so aligned when it comes to parenting. Even in this separation, we have not had any disagreements about the girls or how we want to raise the girls or how we want the girls to, experience this. We both really happily know that we want the girls to be, we want the girls to know family. We want them to not have parents that can't stand to be in the same room as each other, not have parents that fight, not, be able to have their birthday spent in one place or their Christmas spent in one place. Like, we are just really focused on making them as comfortable and as happy as possible. And I guess that is why all the other stuff is sort of on pause, because that is a big job and that takes a lot of mindset and it takes a lot of maturity. It takes a lot of, to be honest, emotional suppression. And so that's why we just pretty much parked our romantic relationship completely, because we were just like, we can't do both of these things simultaneously. We can't be the best co-parents we can be while also trying to work on, the issues that we're having in our marriage, because the girls are going to suffer. And so I guess that was just a selfless act that we both decided that at the end of the day, the children matter the most. So let's be apart. Let's take some time apart. Let's cool off. Let's do our own thing, meet other people, make new friends, do whatever we want to do. And in the meantime, let's just put all our energy and time into raising the best little kids that we can raise. The girls luckily have done so amazing in the transition. I guess it's really highlighted to me how resilient children are. I guess as well, because we have been so mindful of them and their little feelings, it has been sort of easy to deal with them because they don't really know too much is wrong, other than obviously mummy and daddy don't live together anymore, but Adrian and I don't fight in front of them. We, still allow each other in each other's houses. We still do family activities together. If I need help with something, I will still call Adrian up. He will still come over and help me. If the girls want to go see dad on a day that's my day or vice versa, we will do that. We are doing 50-50 parenting. So we both have the girls 7 nights a fortnight, which has been so challenging for me. I was a full-time stay-at-home mum. I had Benny 6 days a week. Rosie went to daycare 3 days a week, and then I would have her at home the other 3 days. And because Adrian worked 6 days a week, he still works 6 days a week. His family just come in and help with the girls on his days. And we sort of decided that because Adrian really wanted to be involved. He really wanted the 50-50 split. He didn't want to sacrifice time with the girls. He wanted to really take on that role. And so I agreed that it was best for them to have the relationship equally with both of us. But that has been the hardest change and the hardest learning curve for me. I don't do very well when it's not my weekend with the girls. So I've just been trying to stay really, really busy and do the best that I can do. Let me tell you that relationship breakdown and separation, after kids and as adults, it is one of the hardest things I think I will ever go through. It is the hardest thing I've gone through so far. It is so complex. There are so many emotions. And I guess the hard thing is when you have kids, you're not just dealing with your emotions, you're also dealing with theirs, which makes processing your emotions really hard because you don't have the luxury of just, crying and doing whatever you want to do all the time. Like you've got to still show up. You've still got to be present. You've still got to perform for them. You've still got to have your shit together for them. And that's really, really hard to do when you just feel like, you want to curl up into a ball and not exist anymore. I am very, very grateful that I have amazing friends and family who've really rallied behind me and been there for me because it has been such a stressful time. I, have lost a lot of weight. I don't sleep very well at the moment. I really am going through it. I wish I could come on here and be like, oh my God, life's great and whatever. But I think everyone on the internet could see that Adrian and I really did love each other. And, we'd been together for so long and we were truly best friends. So, of course, this adjustment has been really, really challenging and really difficult. And I'm not coping as well as I wish I could front up and say I was. And that's hard to admit because I have the type of personality where I wish that I was always performing, always perfect, always doing the best at everything. And so to have to front up and be like, hey, I'm actually not doing well. I'm really struggling. This is a really hard period of my life. For me, feels deeply shameful, even though logically I know it's not. That's just my personality that I just feel like I hate when I'm not live, laugh, loving. This whole 2024, I've not lived, laugh, love. This has been the hardest year of my entire life. I have gone through so many challenges and so many really hard things. And I'm kind of really hoping that 2025 just has some more positives in store for me. I think moving forward, really what I'm focusing on right now is connecting with who I want to be and who I think Bella is. And I'm really trying to go on a journey of self-discovery. I'm trying to better myself in all the ways that I can. I want to be happy. I want to be a good mom. I want to, work and do these. I love doing my content creation. I now, unexpectedly have a lot more time on my hands. So I'm hoping that I can bring some really cool, new, exciting stuff to you guys online. And I just want to really step into this feminine space in 2025 and just really connect with my inner feminine, create a space online for other mothers and women who want to, discover themselves and find themselves. And I'm really hoping I can take you guys sort of on this new journey with me. I'm still going to therapy. I'm still dealing with my new ADHD diagnosis. I have my ASD diagnosis process booked in for mid next year, which is going to be a big one to take you guys on. I'm living alone for the first time. I'm dealing with finances by myself for the first time. I'm doing so much, self-work and self-discovery. There's just a lot going on, and I'm actually really excited to bring you guys on that journey and kind of show you how I go through this process, because unfortunately, life doesn't always go the way that we plan and the way that we hope. And I hope that by me, being realistic and sharing what I'm going through right now is going to help other women who go through challenging times as well, who have things happen to them that they didn't expect, that were out of their control, or, have circumstances change on them. And I just hope that they can kind of look at me and think, well, she did it, I can do it too. It is really, really fucking hard and confronting, but I think the biggest thing I've learned is women are so resourceful, mothers are so resourceful, and when push comes to shove, we make things work. And that has been really inspiring to kind of feel myself tap into that, to hear experiences of other women who have shared with me things that they have done since, their marriage has broken down, or, someone has passed away in their life and they're dealing with a grief journey, or, they've had an tragic accident happened to them. I've had so many women share so many really hard struggles in their life, and how, as women, we just can pick up the pieces and trudge on and make something beautiful out of something that originally wasn't. And I think that is really, really cool. I think one thing I just keep trying to remind myself is if I can grow a whole human in my stomach, I can grow the life that I want. Do you know what I mean? I can grow bones and hands and hearts and organs and all the things. A whole soul can come out of me. I can build a beautiful life. That should be nothing in comparison to that. Women are naturally creators. We are survivors. We are, beautiful, nurturing beings. And I just feel like, why shouldn't I be able to build a life that truly makes me happy? And I think that is just my goal moving forward, is I just want to be happy. I want to be authentically me. I don't want to feel like I have to pretend, I have to mask, I have to be anyone that I'm not. And that is going to be my goal of 2025. And I would really love if you guys came along and joined me for that. Can't share anything that is not purely my story to share. I have to respect other people's privacies. I have to respect, our family's privacies, our children's privacies, Adrian's privacy. I can only share what I feel like is 100% mine to share. But just know that I'm going to be okay. I may not be my best self right now, but, I'm really lucky. I have a really privileged lifestyle. I'm not on the bones of my ass financially. I have family and friends to support me. I have somewhere to live. I have my health. I have 2 beautiful, healthy children. I'm going to be okay, even though, right now things are not the best that they could be. And I'm just trying to have faith that everything is going to work out how it's meant to be. With UPB, I am really excited for the rest of this season. I'm excited for you guys to meet some of the guests I'm going to have on. I would really love if you guys came and followed Up Past Bedtime on Instagram, on TikTok. If you've listened to some of the podcasts before and you want to leave a rating or a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, that would just mean the world to me. I just want to make this space the best that it can be. And while I can't share too many details now, I know out of the season and out of the guests and out of the things that we talk about, people are going to get so much value, especially if they're going through a hard time. I am going to be so open about the journey I'm going on now, and I feel like so many women could get so much value out of that, and I just really want to create that space where you can get that value. I don't want this episode to go on too long. I really just wanted to be able to check in with you all. I wanted to be able to kind of once and for all sort of do a discussion around a lot of the things that have gone on. And I just really wanted to re-kick off this season, have everything that I can put on the table, everyone on the same page, and just start to move forward. I'm so excited for what's to come. I'm so excited for the future. I feel like despite everything, I'm in the place I'm meant to be. I'm on the path that I'm meant to be on. And I feel like all of you being here with me is meant to be. We were meant to connect, and we are meant to be in each other's lives in whatever capacity that is. And I think there's really exciting things coming for everyone in the Up Past Bedtime community in 2025. And I just think this is about to be a really special place to be. And I'm just so grateful that you all are here. I'm still going to be uploading every Wednesday at 6 p.m. We're still going to be doing after dark, kind of controversial, taboo topics and discussions. And it's going to be real and raw. And I want this space to sort of feel like the conversations you would have with your bestie at a sleepover when it's past midnight and you've finished the bottle of wine and you're just talking about everything and anything. That is the vibe for Up Past Bedtime coming forward. So I'm going to love you and I'm going to leave you for this first episode. I will be back next week with a very special guest, and I'm just so grateful for you all and thank you so much. All right, sweet dreams.